So remember, I'm in a hot attic. I'm trying to get up out of here. So now I'm starting from point A and I'm working my way to point Z. So I look in here. Oh, wow, it's clean. You know, there is no blockages of any kind. Another thing I like to check too, guys, that was barely in there. Another thing I like to check is to make sure they put it in the right drain. Can't tell you how many times people make the secondary drain the primary drain. And if you look in here, there's a really small hole for that secondary, and that little small hole gets clogged up, and it's because they put it on the wrong auxiliary drain port. Make sense? So I verified that this is clean. I don't need to replace it. It's got pipe dope on it, which is good. So I'm happy with that. See how that's like cockeyed in there? It like shoots up. It's almost dog-legged. I want to cut that out. But I verified this is good, so I can put the door right back on. Sometimes nice when you're in an attic and that air gets sucked out past your face a little bit, but we don't leave it like that. And then I'm going to put this door back on, and then, like I said, work from point A to point Z. I don't know if you know it, but just a tip on putting the doors on, the first couple screws don't go on super tight. Then you go back and tighten them later. I'm walking that up to, did you see how when I put this screw in, this plate came in closer? So when I put that screw in, it was easy. See, like I don't do that either. Okay. All right, now I'm ready to start my drain. Me personally, I'm cutting this out. Remember, twist, twist. Okay, so now I'm starting out with a fresh, clean slate here. And if it was my house, because there's so many couplings in this, I'm just going to cut this whole thing out. It looks like crap, and I don't do crappy work. But there's a possibility sometimes you can save the P-trap, and that's not a bad thing because it obviously costs less money to not have to replace this. So get this up and out of the way. I never want to see it again. And then I want to start my drain process here. So it's pipe dope and my glue. This is why you bring your tool bag, because you never know if you need something out of your tool bag, like a pair of channel locks to help get that undone. I want to put new pipe dope, because there's barely any on here. When I do my pipe dope, I just kind of like to get that edge like that, because you don't want to get this on you at all. And never wipe it on your pants. You can go around like that if you want to, but it's also just as fine to kind of just scrape off like that. And then once you get it started, it's going to travel through and look real pretty. See what I'm saying? Now, personally, people have different opinions. If I'm making my own trap, I kind of like to dry fit it. My chemicals are staying in my pan. Why is that? In case they spill. At least they spill in the pan. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you go through and you're trying to fastly cut all this. You're in a hot attic. You got to save these pieces because that's going to be my cap for later. You know what I mean? I try not to make a mistake when I'm doing my thing. Does that make sense? Here's my cap. Now, pop quiz for you guys. Why do I need a cap on that? Yep, the negative pressure. And then when I'm doing my thing here, I need to cut to over to this E right here. That's how I do my measurement. A lot easier when you have lettered pipe. Everyone has a different opinion whether you show the letters or don't. I think it looks more intentional if you did show the letters. But if you're going to show the letters, do it in a way that makes sense. Get in there. And then I'm reading those letters all the way across. Boom. Now I'm ready to start gluing. That's a good pitch on that. Connect that to there. I'm ready to start gluing. Cut that off a little bit. See how that ovaled when I pressed down on it? Okay, so I've gotten it dry fitted. I know what I've cut out now. I've verified that that's fine. So now I'm going to blow it out with nitrogen on this end. I've already sucked it. Now I'm going to push it down. And then once that's done, I'm ready to start gluing because I've verified that this is clear. I verified this is on the right side, and it's clear on that end. Does that make sense, guys? You can blow it out really whenever you want. I wanted to know if I was keeping that trap or not, if I was blowing it out. So open that guy up, put my finger around it. Okay, blowing out 500 PSI. And now I'm gluing. I'm going to start here, work my way up, make sure I don't miss a single glue joint. Go in here, quarter turn is what I like to see. Let it sit for a second and I should be able to back it on out. It melts the pipe is what it does. So that's why when you glue it, it only takes a second for it to kind of together. Now, does anybody know why I hid the letters on that one? Because it'd be impossible for me to remember how to line up the letters to figure it, you know what I mean? I didn't want it to not match up. Look like an amateur did it or something, you know what I mean? Now this pipe is wet because it fell into the thing. Take my shirt, make sure both ends are nice and dry before I use the PVC. And then this is it. Okay. Now, can't get fixated on the problem. We got here, there was 1,000,001 couplings, right? The other problem we have, like before you leave, you've got to take a temperature split. Supply, return. I don't care if you're doing a drain. I don't care if you're there to pick up a check. When you go to the unit and you get the temp split. Now on this temp split, you might have 80 coming in and 60 coming out. Okay, that's a fine temp split maybe, but you're sucking in attic air, and you guys got to watch out for this because this happens all the time, where these doors are not sealed up. You know what I mean? So you take your thumb gum. Take your thumb gum, especially when you're in a hot attic. It's easy to maneuver. Not only are you going to go around here, you're also going to thumb gum around the unit. Lennox Tech Support told me this about 2 years ago. He said, if you don't see thumb gum around the drain and there's a gap there, I bet you in here that it's green as can be. That was really interesting. He was right, because every one I went to that wasn't properly sealed, a lot more green inside of here, a lot more microbial growth. So when we come, we do a good job on whatever we do. And we're professionals. And we try to get in and out of here as soon as we can, because it is hot. And then so now, you know, I'm not going to spend the time right now to thumb gum everything right here. But then I would take the time to get my tools up and out of the attic, you know, get a small break. You guys can't stay in these hot attics for a long time. You know what I mean? Like you gotta worry about your hydration, your brain. You come up here, you bring a bottle of water with you and some ice. Constantly put ice in your mouth to keep your body temperature low. you'll do a neater job and a faster job just by bringing a little bit of ice up in the attic with you. Okay, and that's it.